It's The Lesson with Mr. Clark on Lake Effect Radio.
You're gonna learn today. You're gonna learn today. All right, all right, all right.
Hey, welcome back for another episode of the Lesson Radio Show. This is Mr. Clark coming to you back for our third week. If you tried to listen to episode 2, we had some technical issues. I was actually going to call that episode No Technical Files, but it actually ended up being a huge one. So the whole episode is gone. So I'm encouraging you guys to stop in and listen with us live at 7 p.m. on Mondays, 7 p.m.-ish. We running on a little
after 7.
Little CP time.
Right.
Let's see.
Just a little bit.
Just a little.
Just for now.
Just like 5 minutes. Yeah. We'll be
Maybe
alright.
3.5.
We'll get there.
Right.
On livestream.com/Lake Effect. You can also call in. I'll give you that call-in number at the end of the show. Or you could message us on YouTube and we'll get it and we'll answer those questions live. If you want to ask questions to the show, I know we just got to do all this pre-show stuff.
I just want to interject that you're going to show me how to do that stuff.
Absolutely. See, bridging those generational gaps one step at a time.
Because I can hang, you know, right?
Of course. We the ones who can't hang. And ask questions at askthelesson@gmail.com.
Awesome.
All right, in the studio with me again is, go for it,
Miss Cherie. Elise Cherie, rather.
Hi, Elise Cherie.
Hi, everybody.
and
Miss G, girl.
Miss G girl.
Hi, Miss G girl.
She said, she said that was my original nickname.
It
and I
was.
ain't gonna have y'all out here being all young.
Well, you know, I bought into it because, after all, everybody else has 3 and 4 names. So why not?
Right, look.
Right?
Yeah. It's the age of multiple identities.
And you gotta compartmentalize them,
Right.
them personalities.
Right.
You really do.
Oh, you really do.
You really
That's
do.
true. Right.
Like, okay, I'm Mr. Clark here,
Mm-hmm.
son else there. No, they all my name. It's just different ones. It's the-
Hi, I'm Miss Huffman. Her.
Right.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then you be too professional. You be like,
Wait a minute.
That's
now.
because I'm going by that name. That's what that is.
It brings that out of you.
Y'all want to tell me how y'all weeks went, or y'all just want to jump straight into the segments?
Jump
Probably.
straight on into it. Why
Yeah.
not? Okay.
So this week we're gonna start with our life lessons, and we're gonna toss it to you, Miss E.
So, I guess a teachable moment. Maybe a teachable moment. It didn't happen to me personally. I know we always share personal stories or whatever,
Correct.
but I just wanted to go on the field of, what's happening now in the mainstream and the masses. So, of course, last week, we've seen or experienced the backlash with the Nina biopic, because apparently they dropped the trailer to the Nina Simone biopic. So hopefully everyone knows.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
For those of us who pronounce words differently, it's biopic that she said. I'm not saying, no, I know. I'm not correcting your
Potato.
English. She said, hold up.
Potato.
Y'all should have saw that face. She waiting.
Tomato.
No.
Tomato.
Yes.
But some of us don't necessarily say it that way.
Yes.
So if you're confused out there, the word is also biopic.
Interesting.
Right. And it is funny because I was listening to a radio station. I think I was in D.C. and somebody was talking about it. And they said, yeah, the biopic. And it was like, did she just say biopic? But, tomato, potato, all of that. So, anyway, I encourage you all to do a little Google search. That's a teachable moment there. And learn about the resplendent Miss Nina Simone and what she stood
Where's
for.
my dictionary?
She did pull out the SAT
Yeah,
word
she
real
went
quick.
there.
I'm like, all right.
Okay. Getting it out.
But
And it's all good, right?
Yes, yes. But so there was backlash because, Nina Simone, she's an African-American woman. She has African-American features, the broad noses, the, larger lips or whatever. And she has this mahogany skin tone that is just amazing, and they cast someone like, well, not someone like, but they cast.
Was it Dondi? Or?
No, it was
Zoe Saldana.
Yes,
Is
Zoe.
Zoe?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, as you know, Zoe Saldana, she's Afro-Latina. But with this, they had to, because she's markedly
They had
lighter,
to paint her.
They had to paint her. They had to put her in blackface. Not only did they paint her, but they gave her prosthetics to make her nose.
And you know what? I was looking at it, and I was like, if they would have just left her natural, we probably wouldn't have been mad. Because you know what? Right next to her, it does give us a feel. Now, I saw pictures of India Arie, who looks much more realistic to the role. I also saw Yuza Aduba.
Yes.
They could have used her. Who
Oh,
looks a
yeah,
lot
from
more.
Black is the Orange is the New
But
Black.
when they decided they was going to do her and put them prosthetics on.
Yes, and that's where the backlash came in, because it's like, here you have this woman who, you know, was initially ridiculed for her skin tone, for her features or whatever, and she rose above that and became the force that she was in spite of that, or despite that. And she celebrated that. She celebrated her blackness. She celebrated, you know, her features and whatnot. And you have someone that really doesn't look that part. So to me, that was kind of tone deaf on the part of the producer and on Zoe, because it's like you're erasing what she's proud of in order to put something out.
Well, you know, I would agree to a degree on that. I would say that I fully support that viewpoint from the perspective that African American actresses, they talk about this all the time, how they have to fight for certain roles and how there are not enough roles written or out there for them. And you mean to tell me that you have this pool of African American actresses that you can pick from, and you go do that? Now, on Zoe's part,
I mean, she
you
went
know,
with a
sometime when you gotta work,
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
she,
you might have to work.
You gotta get
Maybe.
coin. I understand that.
Yeah, maybe.
But, you know, it's just...
And
I
they
don't-
stand from a publicist's standpoint. She thought this was going to be her opportunity to turn herself into like a more serious actor.
I see. Okay.
So she kind of was like, okay,
If
this
she
is
need an
it.
agent, you know, Miss Huffman.
But, I mean, and it's, like you said, it goes back to your point. If they would have left her as is and she would have had the chops and she really would have really brought that Nina Simone, that would have been fine, because you had people like Jeffrey Wright, who played Martin Luther King, who was lighter than necessarily Martin Luther King, but that wasn't the point. It was about bringing his message, about bringing his persona to the screen. And so she could have did that, but I just thought it was kind of a slap in the face that you got to do all this, and you have the likes of everyone we mentioned, Viola Davis, everybody. So that's just, you know, my teachable moment. Sometimes you have to test the waters, I guess, and not be as tone deaf to the perception that you put out there. Especially now when we have all this black girl magic going around.
Ooh, it is some black girl
Yes.
magic going like crazy.
This black girl, you know, so you have to kind of put the feelers out there. And I think they did, but they just didn't care and went along with it, because this has been in the works for like 2 years. So even then, there was like, wait a minute, Zoe?
Should have paid attention to the initial backlash.
Exactly.
What kind of, well, it doesn't play, but it's a good segue. Putting those feelers out there in the beginning and then seeing what that's going to be. So, my topic is the consequences of poor networking tactics and the ability to go home after you've left. So, I actually want to start the story because we start all our stories with a hot topic, and then that's the lesson in the hot topic. So this week's hot topic is kind of like still pretty much allegedly we on the windy side of it, and it's been like disputed by Gossip Cop, but I ain't care. I was like, you know what? When there's smoke, there's a little fire, so I'm putting it out there. So we have Kanye West moving out of his home with the Jenners to move in with Jay-Z and Beyonce because they had a dispute.
Well, hold on, wait a minute.
Wasn't we talking about that last
We
time?
did talk about
I
some-
must have missed this.
Yeah, I did too.
But you, so you telling me that I was on point?
No, you were. I think you was on point, and it just this right now. I think it.
I don't know how true it is, but this is the gossip that's out there that he got into an argument with Kris Jenner over the Puma contract with Kylie, and he actually said some words that maybe he shouldn't have said living in their house, and she was like, "You got to go.
Oh, it was serious. If he had to go,
Go for it."
I have a question. Why is he living in their house?
Okay,
Because
they
we know
all
why.
been
Because
living
he's
there.
$53 million in
They
debt.
actually had bought a home, I believe, and then the home was so marketable, or the housing market was so good that they decided to sell it. So they moved back in with Chris instead of living on their own.
So
So
you,
this
And they've
has
been
been
living
going
with
on for
Chris
like a couple of years.
Living
This
with Chris thing.
continuum, like they were gonna move and then they
Right.
saw opportunities, so then they stayed where they were.
So they're gonna keep buying houses and flipping them type thing.
but most people who are in the upper echelon of, you know, finances or whatever, they just go and buy a penthouse and they just rent that out
Right.
for astronomical like salaries a month. So I mean, maybe they're being financially savvy and saying, you know how you teach us, don't go and go.
Yeah.
She said "Saul."
They have
I've been
to-
watching a lot of Game of Thrones.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's another conversation. Okay.
So my point in that story was like, I don't know if I'm Jay-Z and Beyonce. He caused quite a few frictions. Like, you always leave home right. That's the lesson I've been taught. And you network properly.
That's right.
You network properly. So when he met them, he didn't necessarily know too much about them. He was just all. This is my opinion, you guys, and I love Kanye West. I do want to disclaimer that, but I feel like he was all in when he finally got them. Like, oh, they the glamorous. This is like a good marketing move. When it really turns out, it looked like they took them in, sucked them up, and pushed them out.
But
And
that's
now
what they've
he
been
gotta
saying.
go home to Jay-Z and Beyonce, where he kind of. I remember this one comment he made that he feel like there's some animosity Beyonce may have towards Kim because she wasn't feeling hanging out with her, and it might be a Kobe Jordan thing. And I was like, wait a minute.
It's not even a comparison.
They're not even in the same
It's not even
game,
a
okay?
comparison.
If Beyonce is in the NBA, she got to be like at elementary school starter basketball. Like, why would you do such a thing and then have to come around back to him? So that brings me into my lesson, because I had quite a few situations where I'm just not feeling it. Like, I feel like the time to decide whether or not you want to solicit someone to be a part of your network is at the very beginning of meeting them. That means you don't necessarily have to know where this person comes from, their financial background, their level of education. If you met that person and you engage with them, that was your opportunity to vet them for later. Now, if you figure out later that they will be a good addition to your network, I'm not feeling it. You know why? Because now I know you in it for a motive, and I'm not gonna allow you to do that to me. So that's
I don't know how I feel about that.
that's been my general question to you. Okay, so for example, I have to bring a personal life story. Like, I've been moving and shaking as far as networking, and there's a few people I've met in the beginning who didn't want nothing to do with me because they thought I was just regular. I was just a student here. And when they figured out, oh no, he works here. Oh no, he has his degree already. Okay, he's doing that. Now I was like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, no, not what's up, because now you corny to me. Back up off me. So I wanted to know, as the mentor and as someone older in her career, how did you feel about my perspective of that? Because I'm just not feeling false, phony networking. I'm not on it. Like, back up off me.
I've been having this conversation with a lot of people of a different generation than I am.
Okay.
And I can dig where everybody is coming from on that. I really can. I can totally embrace the fact that I don't do phony and nobody should do phony. But see, phony is different than moving strategically.
Right.
But, okay, go ahead. You finished?
Okay, it's different than moving strategically, because there are people who have done the same thing to me, who have decided upon initial meeting that I am not on the level to be in their space,
Right.
and then they find out that I'm a rock star. Okay, and so the ball in that instance, the ball is in my court. I could use that as leverage.
Right.
I can use that as leverage for things that I may need, things I've identified just from the interaction I've had with that person or just observing that person. Because though I may not like what you did, I know what you can do well, and I know what you can do for me. So it could be a quid pro quo kind of thing. It could be I need something from them. And people out there that say, I don't need anything from anybody. Okay,
But
whatever
if
you say.
really don't need nothing from that person, do you allow them to feel like,
You
I just don't like
just
that.
never know. You
really
just don't know.
Then I could see
friends.
No, but see, that's the whole thing. That is not a requirement to be a friend.
Exactly.
It's not a requirement at all to be a friend. You know, most of the people I associate with are just transactional peers.
Right.
That's it. But I can appreciate what other people do well, and if I need something that they do well that I may not do as well, or they can do it better than me, I am going for it.
But do you take my point as the people actually need to start vetting from the very beginning, allowing that interaction to be less artificial?
I see your point from a friendship standpoint, maybe. But when it comes to business, sometimes you may not know exactly in the beginning. You can't align yourself with everybody in the beginning because you may not know what they're about or whatever. Now a snub, like, you ain't doing what I'm thinking you're doing, so I'm not going to, I don't like that part. But like she said, that's when the ball is in your court, where you observe and you keep that in the back of your mind and you use that to your advantage of what you need to do.
It'll be up to you to decide if you want to allow that relationship, if you're going to have a relationship, to move forward in any kind of way. It's always going to be in your court. I don't make good first impressions. Never have. Ever.
I don't
never.
Either.
You used to tell me you thought I was mean.
I didn't think you was mean.
That's what you told me, didn't you?
I said she clicked into other Gina, other Miss G girl on me, and I was like, whoa, I wasn't ready for that.
Well, but to give you a chance to know, who you're dealing with. I'm just saying, from my perspective, I've never been a person who makes a first good impression, not at an interview, not upon meeting you, not anything. So, for people to embrace me, right at the beginning, I may be leery, like you said, because they may have an agenda for me or whatever. Right. I would be leery about that if they may have an agenda for me. I would rather it's okay. I know we are not, but it's like dogs sniffing each other. We trying to figure it out. We trying to figure it out, And so I'll do the figure it out dance. And if it don't click, then at least
let it go.
We can be courteous to each other. Right. But if it do click, we'll keep finding our way back to each other.
And I have an experience like that where, let me see if I can talk about it. One of my managers, we didn't click right off the bat because he's always like, well, you need to smile. Why don't you smile for me? And I'm like, I'm not put on this earth to smile for you or whatever. So I really didn't say I didn't like him, but I just didn't fool with him. I said, you go and do whatever you want to do. Turns out he the one helped me get my promotion.
Right.
And so, we didn't click right off the bat, but after a while, I started talking to him and whatever because I don't make good first impressions. I can be kind of cold in the beginning. I don't like to embrace people right off the bat because folks crazy.
Yeah, people be serial killers.
Exactly, literally.
So
it's y'all trying to say I'm tripping?
No, I'm not saying you're tripping.
See,
it's just
she made a good point. She said from a friendship point of view, and we're saying that. But
if people come at you with the business term on some friendly conversation, like, and friend part was over. If you want something business, come to me business like.
But you trying to impose what your wishes or how you would do something on somebody else, and we're not alike. All of us, we're not alike. Some people dance around stuff. Some people don't know how to be direct. Some people are not good at it. Other people, they know just what to do and how to do it. Some people are offended by stuff like that. So that's why I think, doing the dance is okay,
I think the millennial generation comes from this thing where was you in the gym when I was shooting around?
Where was you when I was shooting in the gym?
Exactly. Meaning that if you wasn't there from the very beginning, I don't need to have any dealings with you. Whereas older generations, you don't necessarily have to be. You can bring, just like the Jordan thing. When Jordan first got to Chicago, the team wasn't really that good.
That's right.
And then he brought in, the Scottie Pippens, he brought in the other players, and they meshed well. They brought it together. So that's the older generation that sometimes you may not have all that you need in the very beginning with somebody. You got to pull that in and pull that out once you feel everything out.
I think for the older generation too, the way we kind of gave props to people that we was watching, or we thought we may or may not want to have interaction with them, is we would just be like, I see you. I see you. You know, it'd be like it'd be a nod, it'd be a big up, or it'd be like, you know, I'm staying in my lane kind of thing.
Yes.
You know, all of those things. And, and then as things progress, you know, using the Jordan analogy, people start to be like, you know what? Dude about his game. And that's who I am, and I want to be part of that. So I'm going to take it to the next level. Maybe I'm going to show up at the gym and do a shoe around with him.
Okay. To move on from that a little bit. Okay, now we said you ain't come in right, but I let you in. We in there kicking it. We in the Jay-Z, Kanye West situation. But they feel like they find a bigger brand, a bigger team. They move on. Kind of leave you in the wind. Maybe they do some things for the other team that they wouldn't necessarily do for you. This is the consideration factor, because, okay, I feel like I have situations right now where people offer a lot more consideration to other people than they ever would have offered to me. So let's say I got something going on. I need somebody to promote it for me. They won't necessarily promote it, but someone else who doesn't do who I know for a fact doesn't do as much for them, they'll promote it without even them asking. Or let's say we're in a situation and something smart or shady is said. Now, if I say something back, oh, you made so-and-so feel this way. I don't think, you know, it's nice for you to do that. But if someone says explicitly something flat out shady to me, they don't even acknowledge it. So I'm to the point where I'm like, okay, you have all this consideration, all this understanding from this person. You're trying to help this person out this hard. But when I've done things for you, you haven't reciprocated for me in that same way. So now I'm feeling some type of way about them and you, because I'm not sure. So this would be, for me, if I was a Jay-Z or a Beyonce or Kanye West, I'd be like, look, bud, you chose that team, wear that jersey, play over there. This, what you used to get over here, that's not available to you no more.
But we make good music.
Sometimes,
you know what I'm saying?
But we make good music.
You know, that's all I've been saying, is that you just got to recognize what level of play is going to be between y'all. Unless it's just an all-out brawl, fallout. Unless it's that, where, you know, it's X and it's a rap. Unless it's that, then you know, people move in different directions. People start doing different things. People grow. I got people who don't mess with me no more, you know, like they used to.
Do you address that? Or you
Why?
just let it be?
I let it
Because,
be.
like, I'm not about to let you sit around and it not be right either. Like, either we're going to fix
It
it or
is,
you're going to
but
be
see,
done.
I guess from an older generation, it is right, because that's what it is. So if you should decide to come back to me, I'm going to deal with you on the level that you dealing with me.
I think it's more so you can't bring your feelings into transactional business dealings, because
let's separate them then.
Okay.
Because in what situations? Give it to me.
I mean, like, if somebody in your situation, now I don't know in that specific situation if that person is giving more attention to the other person because they may have known that person longer, or
They're vibing more strongly with one another because of their interest or some kind of way they're linked.
So it could be that, like, you know, she's my ace from back in the day. I'll rock with you, but she's my ace from back in the day. So
okay,
whatever.
we'll go play on that team. Let's see how many scores you point.
But you can't. But you can't have that.
No,
You
but
can't have that
no.
attitude about it, because that's just how things are. You know.
That's how things are for some people. Remember, you told me you have to train people how to treat you. Right now, I opened up a kennel. All you can get cages. Like, y'all gonna get it right.
You can, but
You can train people how you want to treat you, but I think that's a different situation than what you're describing, in my opinion. I think that you have to decide if you want to play with them. If you want, because if they playing and they don't want to play with you, or if they want to play with you in a limited capacity, you have to decide how you want it or not.
All right.
Let them go play.
Well,
Because you gonna do what you gonna do, and you gonna get where you gonna get, and however it turn out. And I'm tell you, I can tell you from experience, when it turned out, those who didn't want to play with you, they see you.
Right.
And from a personal perspective, I'm not going to treat you any differently than I left you, but I'm not going to play with you like that because you didn't want to play with me like that. And it's cool. It's all good.
All right. I guess I learned the lesson today. I had to push a question out there. I really had some insight. I wanted some things I wanted you guys to learn. Like, in my head, all networking should be on a cordial basis. Like, it ain't nothing for you to be cordial. Don't come in with this air about you that you only want to meet certain people in the room. Okay, because if you find out I was one of those certain people later, certain people ain't going to be feeling it later. Some of us you have to catch in the beginning. And then some of us are different where we can, it don't matter when you catch me, this is a transaction for me. Now, most transactions for me aren't necessarily transactions because people don't come to you on a transactional basis. They come to you, hey, what's up? I'm in this. I heard you was in that. And that's buddy-buddy to me. Don't come to me buddy-buddy. If you want to come to me on some transaction, come to me on, hey, I'm doing this. I see you doing that. We should link up. That's the transaction for me.
That's what you want.
That's what I want if you didn't catch me in the beginning.
Okay.
But sometimes people, I mean, when somebody come at me transactional that way off top, I'm looking at them like, wait a minute. You know, depending on the situation. Sometimes, just like she said, people don't know how to approach certain situations. They don't know that you want them to come at you with a transactional if they want something, or they don't know if you are someone like me who I would at least like for you to get to know me on at least a surface level before you go into some transactional whatever. So they don't necessarily know how to approach you in dealings when it comes to stuff like that. So
here's what I suggest.
I hope we ain't sit on this one for too long.
No, but it's a good topic.
Yeah,
it's a good topic. So here's what I would suggest. It goes back to what I said about training people how to treat you. That's what you have to do with every transaction that you have. However it go, you're going to figure out how to start to engage and train people how you want it to be done and engaged with you. That's what you have to figure out, or that's how you have to train them. So if I came to you and I wanted you to do something, and I was like, Mr. Clark, listen, Mr. Clark, you know,
in the back of my head, I'm like, what you want?
Right, in the back of your mind, you like what you want. So as I'm going through this, I would expect from what you're saying, and I would suggest from what you're saying, that your response would be, if you want me to do something, just ask me. Right. And that's how you train somebody. So then that person knows how they need to give it to you so that you are all right with it. And what's more than that, they'll go tell everybody else, oh, don't go there like that. If you trying to conduct some transactional business or whatever, just bring it to him. He don't like the beating around the bush thing. That's not who he is. And so that's where you train people who you interact with in order to get them to do what you desire them to do in interacting with you.
Right. Well, all right, you guys. We're going to take a musical break. Let the air clear a little bit. And then we're going to come back with financial literacy.